Hello, my name is Diversai, and today we're going to try to do the 6.5 star weekly Nightmare using Nami. This is like her traditional build. It's Archangel Staff, the Grand General's Counterplan, and Chemtech Duplicator. The idea is that every round you'll generate spells, and with Chemtech Duplicator you'll be able to heal a lot, and then maybe that'll make up for the buff gaps. This was, I think, the most used build up until Hymn of Valor became a thing. And we can go ahead and take Lil Buddies. That'll give us a little bit of defense. We're swarmed pretty early, so losing less hit points from the actual mobs. The enemy units will help us survive until we can get Nami online. Once Nami's online, we should be okay. But also give Nami targets for her spells to hit. And with Nami, you're okay casting spells, because when you cast spells, it refills, and that'll give us an opportunity to get our mana back. We want to be around 3 mana, I think, when we're going into the round we drop Nami, so that we can start taking advantage of her power.
Embrace the current or be swept away. No outsiders.
I think we actually might want to keep Answered Prayer until after we use Ebb, because it'll draw a champion, and I think both our champions are here right now, so there's no point in doing that. Can use Ebb. I don't think we'll really get the advantage of duplicated spells and like the created spells, because we don't have the mana to use it, but if we don't cast it now, we're just kind of losing it, because we're going to get it back with Answered Prayer anyway. Spawn 4 is maybe okay, but let's just stick with Spawn 2. Not sure where our mana is going to end up. And this is our second spell. And we're going to play Ebb again as our third spell.
I am the Tide Caller. I will drive back the darkness.
And what that'll allow us to do is play a Flow as our fourth spell and duplicate. So we'll get some healing here. Twice, but also importantly we create 2 Ebb and Flow off of that, which gives us even more heal. We do unfortunately run out of mana before we can take advantage of this last Ebb and Flow. I don't think there's a point in attacking. I'm gonna heal up and then hold. Wait for this attack. I would like to keep one of our guys alive, But I'm just not seeing the path to doing that. Apparently mini morphine something with an attachment isn't very good. I learned that just now. And so we're probably just dead here. On our draw, we'll probably die. Obviously, we're nowhere near killing our opponent. He did hit Chemtech Duplicator though, so I just played the spell wrong. This will be our 4th spell, so it'll duplicate. Not too bad. We still get an extra copy here. Also, our mana is now infinite. Because every time we cast a spell, we'll be casting 2 spells. But I'm just not convinced we have enough damage to actually hit through. We're still kind of low on life.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you.
Could use Answered Prayer here to spread the buff a little bit. Having 2 units that are getting hit by it is better than just having the 1. We still have 5 opponents' units to get past though. And drawing our Nami is also not bad. We are now fully healed. If we can eventually kill our opponent, all of his units, we can start hitting the Nexus with these spells. Also, once we're down to just 1 blocker, we should be able to attack. Can't do it with 2 blockers. Chosen by the Stars might still be better than like Archangel's staff here. We're doing this with no epic relics though, so it's not really an option for me. But if you have Chosen, then your Nami would be huge right here. Would also have Overwhelm and Challenger. Alright, last unit is dead, and we can finally attack. All these games are going to be very long. You have to cast infinity spells, basically. I think we take Tidal Invocation. It gives us a fast speed blocker, which we might need for support champ. There's potential that we could roll into like Infinite Katarina combo, so that's probably the best option here. And I don't think Scargrounds is particularly good for what we're doing. So we'll try Sneaky Zeebles. Sneaky Zeebles is kind of difficult anyway. They have the ability to stun a lot of your units, which can lock them down, which is bad. Reroll everything here looking for Nami. And we can draw 2 Katarina, which is fine. That'll force us to draw Nami. Drop Otterpuss here. We'll get 2 pranks in hand. They're free. So you can either save them for when you drop Nami, or you can start making your opponent's hand worse. Also helps because we'll start to know what's in our opponent's hand, which will help us.
I have my orders.
Not super concerned about our mana because we have Archangel Staff. These do come with Challenger, so we can't play card until after they're off the board.
My quest is dangerous, but I will see it through. Let the tide carry you.
We're gonna play Ebb here just to start using spell mana.
No one's the wiser. There's another one!
Let the tide carry you.
Spell number 2. Spell number 3. Spell number 4.
Tide carry you. I will find the Moonstone. I will save my people. Ride the surging tides.
And we are unfortunately out of spells.
Quickly.
Remove this guy from the board. Next round, there's a lot of elusive damage coming at us. Can't really do anything about it.
Carry you.
We also need to keep Nami alive, which means we're probably forced to play this mini morph here.
Ride the
And play
surging
Ebb
tides.
first. Make this guy so that he's not stunned by the Zeebles. But we're still looking at like 16, 23, 25 damage. Okay, they pulled in a way that is kind of beneficial for us. We'll go ahead and use our
Rise with the surf.
mini morph to get one thing that would have done a lot of damage to us. Remove that. And this seems, I mean, not ideal, but fine. We make it to the next round.
Let the
Kind of
tide
all we're
carry
looking to do here.
Rise with the surf.
Here we're at 6. We do have Eye of Nagaka Boros to potentially
Carry you.
draw into more copies of Nami. That'd be really good for us. And we did hit Chemtech Duplicator, so we're gonna get a lot of
Surging tide.
mileage out of these spells.
Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tides.
Downside to the eye is that he will draw 2, and we have 61 puff caps. So we're only going to do that if we absolutely have to.
Surging tides.
If we're at full life, that would be fine as well.
Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tides. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tides. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tides. Rise with the surf.
So we're at full life and we're out of cards, so let's go ahead and draw.
Let the tide carry you.
Oh, that's going to be draw 4, so little scary. Do draw a Nami, so we can play that.
Ride the surging tides.
Now this unit's dead, so we're free to attack Nexus and win the game. Before we do that, of course, we do want to heal our Nexus as much as possible.
Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tides. Rise with the surf. Let
And
the
we're good.
tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Walk away. My loved ones will be safe a while longer.
It's 2 fights down. Death Lotus has some potential, but things have to be at 1 life, so I don't know that it's super good. It also draws us a card, or gives us the ability to draw cards, which is positive and negative. Since we went all in on Ransom Riches, we could keep doing that, or we could get Answered Prayers with Elixir of Sorcery. That'll let us draw more Champion. We do need Champion. And we go into Vekauran Vagabond. Vekauran Vagabond usually not too bad, but I mean, their main problem is not solved by what our deck is doing. And we'll just go ahead and get rid of these 3 cards. We can keep Answered Prayer. Playing it twice will force us to draw Nami no matter what. And we're going to want to play it on this round when we only have 15 puff caps in the deck. We're going to play it even though we have Nami. It'll refill our spell mana. It'll give us 2 or 1 blocker with 2 power, I guess, 4 power. But also the second Nami in hand does help once we hit Chemtech level, which we need to do if we want to win. So hopefully that works out for us. Also Manifest Follower here. We can take the pesky Spectre. Maybe that'll slow our opponents down. Maybe it won't. Could sacrifice Katarina here.
Never play fair.
Seems fine to me. If we play Nami, we kind of want to block anyway, so that's not like
Without mercy.
life changing here. second Katarina, hopefully we'll be able to keep around and take advantage of her elusive and just finish off the board. But right now, I think we are where we are. Could have potentially played Death Lotus there. It would have killed this unit, which, I mean, I wouldn't have hated. That would have been fine. But kill it a different way. Drop Nami, we need her on board to get advantage of Grand General's Counterplan and also the Archangel staff mana. Here, I don't think we can do anything. I think we just have to pass. I don't know that our board is wide enough to survive. We do have Nami's Ebb in hand. We don't really have the mana to take advantage of it. I think we kind of have to play it anyway, though. I don't know that it's optional. And so here we're looking at taking 28 damage. Maybe 12. Yeah. It's gonna be fine. We're fine. Don't have to worry about anything. Blockhand is bad. It gives them potential infinite if they have Vekauran or Warlord's Palace on board, but it doesn't look like they do here. So, seems like we'll be a little bit okay. We could drop second Katarina, but if we do, she's definitely dead. Which, honestly, might not be the worst thing in the world. And we don't have anything that creates a Poro. So, we're just going to be looking to take some damage here. I think Katarina is the only thing we can do to block. And I don't know if I want to do that right now. Okay, so we have to take that elusive, which is fine. We can block like this. This makes that we're going to be taking 18 damage. Could block this way and mini morph this guy. That brings it down to a very reasonable 15 damage. Can't block with Nami, of course. So I think that's 14 damage. This is the best we can do here without losing Nami. Hopefully the 11 hit points we're going to have will be enough to survive the 48 puff caps we have. Mathematically it should, but that doesn't always work out. Okay, it looks like we should be okay. We're going to drop Katarina. This gives us 2 advantages here. We have this Blade's Edge we can use to refill mana. Kind of have card issues though, so I think I'm going to go ahead and play this Abyssal Guard just to get a card out of our hand.
Don't be reckless. We need you.
I'm fine with that. Doesn't really do anything. So when we play Nami's Ebb, we're going to create 2 flows, which will fill up our hand.
Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
And we're going to duplicate on the next spell. So I think it's still probably preferable to duplicate on flow, although we have maybe Tidal Invocation can do 3 damage to a thing, which isn't bad. It also gives a spawn. So maybe that's what we're going to be doing here. And then takes a card out of our hand. Gives us a very wide board. Wide boards are good for Nami.
The oasis of the dawn flows again.
Ride the surging tide.
Like on the one hand, you are splitting up all your damage, but that means that you can attack with less things, or more things rather, and so they can have a wider board. It's less bad for you.
Let the tide carry you.
We're also fine killing this pesky Spectre.
Carry you.
Potentially I could have waited till I had less mana, but I'm not sure that that is going to be a scenario. And as before, we do still have Answered Prayer in hand.
Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
We could use Answered Prayer here. This will roll us into 2 more Nami. We're almost certainly fine if we do that. And it'll get us closer to having maximum hit points going into the next round, which we probably want since it's Ornn. Guess this plays 3 times. It's actually kind of bad for us. Okay, we only took 3 damage. Perfect. Everything is going in our way.
Ride the surging tide.
Nami has a less chance of having puff caps on because we're shuffling new copies in,
Carry you.
and those new copies don't have traps on them.
Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
Only fools hesitate.
And now that we're good on hit points, we're fine to attack. As I said, these games are going to be really long, because we have to heal after.
Everything.
Also not sure if we can beat Ornn, and I'm also not sure if we can beat Aurelion Sol. So we're going to find out.
I'm proud to call myself Tide Caller.
I think Oncologist is probably better than Noxian Fervor. I don't really want to be damaging her own units, I don't think. Although maybe, I don't know. Kind of unclear on that. Could take this Visayan Disciple, it's a blocker. And we can save the rerolls for after Ornn. Assuming we make it that far. And then we'll get rid of the worst card in our deck, which I am unclear on. I think it's probably Abyssal Guard. It doesn't generate a spell. The other option is Wiggly Burblefish, but it has Elusive, which is good if we can get it down on the board, which we can pretty early because we cast a lot of spells.
I brought nails.
And so this is going to be like the big test on whether or not we die. If he drops something with Overwhelm early post, there's no way around that. But if he doesn't, we'll be okay. Units get very big very fast. We do have many more, but I don't think we're going to have the ability to play it. We can take something like Proliferating Dark Raid by making extra copies in our deck. That should help us. And we're not attacking here. Mostly we're concerned about whatever sort of equipment they have, but they haven't used an equipment yet, so maybe we're okay.
The Winter's Claw will never accept peace.
Okay, so one unit got overwhelmed because he's equipped. I think we're gonna want to drop Nami here We can wait until after the attack, though. There's no reason to rush it.
Enough compromise.
Just in case there's some weird combat trick or an equipment that gives Challenger. So we learned earlier that Mini-Morph does not do well into attachments. So we're a little concerned about that. I'm going to wait on Answer Prayer till next round so I can cast more spells. I think that makes the most sense. We cast it twice here and then we'll be out of mana.
Ride the surging tides.
So this is probably going to be like 12 even without the equipment on.
Explosives primed.
Seven cards in hand. I want to get one more up.
I will tell you.
Tell the one about his fiery breath, person.
Yes, good. He would approve, I think.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
So this is 33 damage just from Overwhelm, which obviously we are not going to be able to deal with very well.
Let the tide carry you. I am the
Although if we
tide.
silence the cultist,
Back the
I
darkness.
think that Overwhelm should disappear.
Rise
So
with the surf.
I think that's a way we can stay
Ride
safe.
the surging tides.
Ornn should hit the board next round though. And it looks like he's gonna come leveled already. Gonna be a very interesting round.
Rise with the surf.
This will make it sturdy.
Ride the surging tides.
We are unfortunately out of mana.
Let the tide carry you.
Now this is what good looks like. I made this hammer. It was so good I named it Hammer.
So depending on how he attacks, we can't win.
An iron will must be forged.
Yeah, we can't deal with the 47 ram. There's no way possible. We can Mini-Morph
Ride the surging tides.
the guy that gives them Overwhelm, but the ram still has Overwhelm. And there's just nothing we can do about that. We can do like block, 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 block. We still take 48, which is, if you will note, more than our total amount of hit points.
Like that.
So there's nothing we can do there. If we Mini-Morphed Ornn, that wouldn't have been better. We would have taken the Overwhelm from the other two units instead, and that wouldn't have changed overall what happens here. So I guess to live that, we would have needed to have drawn 2 Mini-Morphs and used one in the previous round. Or he could have just not dropped the Cultist. But the Cultist is a pretty common drop, so
Building a deck, are we? Excellent. I brought
I don't know what the solution is. If we had found anything that said the word stun on it at any point, that would have been good. Maybe I shouldn't have banked on Katarina and re-rolled more.
your darn turtle keeps crawling into the furnace.
Don't yell at him. He's trying to help.
Not great for us. It's not the worst.
To the forge. All unbelievers will see the light.
It's nice. Could be nicer.
So we are starting here with full mana, but we don't have second Nami. Okay, we draw second Nami, so maybe we're okay. This Nami's also boosted.
Followed by darkness.
Stand with me by the light, as my ancestors did.
So she'll be able to block a little better than she normally would,
Rise
which
with the
is
surf.
cool. They didn't drop the unit that gives things overwhelm, so we're doing a little better here.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
And we're going to heal as much as possible. Unfortunately, we don't end up targeting anything that could have died.
Let the tide carry you.
Now this is what good looks like. Name's Ornn. No further pleasantries needed. And we will make great things in your name.
Ride the surging tides.
Hold it steady for me. Like that.
Let the tide carry you. I will find the moonstone. I will save my people.
Could mini-morph Ornn before he attacks. Then we don't have to
Ride the
think
surging
as hard.
tides.
Seems good.
Hold while I smith.
This is a pretty good attack.
Yes, for heretics.
We lose basically nothing, and we're going to go into the next round, which is our Chemtech Duplicator round. Should be able to win the game right here.
Let the tide carry you.
Two Nami is fantastic. We'll drop Katarina so she can start growing. That's a little unfortunate. Can I afford to have Nami die? I think that answer is no.
Surging tides. Rise with
But
the
we can
surf.
still do all the things that we were going to do ahead of time. We also have mini-more. So
Ride
I
the
think that's
surging
how we're
tides.
going to approach this.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
Yeah.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
Now even if this lands, we don't care.
Ride the surging tides. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tides. Let the tide carry you.
We're able to get 1 mana back here. with Blade's Edge, but we're not going to be able to get 2 mana back. So we're not going to be able to play. I have Nagaka Boros, which would be pretty nice if we could.
Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide.
We have 30 damage available
Rise
to us,
with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
but unless the rest of the board dies, we don't have more than that.
Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
Now we're up to 34. Also do have Overwhelm on Nami, which we're definitely going to make use of.
Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf.
Now we're out of spells. I think the best thing to do is toss this Blade's Edge
Let
directly at the
tide carry
Nexus.
you. Ride the surging tide.
It's just a nick. To the point.
Hey, watch the hair!
I'm gonna go ahead and give Might to one of our units here. Finish off Ornn.
They'll never know what killed them.
You can take Augment on Nami, it's pretty cool. She'll get really big. Make it easier to finish off games. I don't think Trifarian might as help us. Spell Burn probably does a lot of extra damage to the enemy Nexus. I don't know if it solves our actual problems, but I don't know, seems good. We can go to the spell chest, see if we can find anything interesting there. I think we should be able to deal with turrets pretty well. We have one Nami in hand. Let's see if we can make it 2. Techs are unreasonable. I think I want to wait on answered prayer. And we'll play this just so we can get a tentacle out.
A foray into the field? How exciting!
They're pretty good right now. You have as many units as they have.
Let the show begin!
Now we have a lot less units.
Let the bloodshed begin.
Sacrificial Katarina.
Let's dance. just an egg.
Next round we'll drop Nami.
Embrace the current or be swept away. Let the tide carry you. And here's where I paint my constellation.
Oh no.
Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. I will find the moonstone. I will save my people. Ride the surging tide. Sorry, everyone.
Should still be okay into this round. It's not great now that we lost Nami, but not too bad either. Can drop coral creatures, maybe eat another random killing thing. We can get Nami on board, no challenger. There's a thermogenic beam, but you can take Prowling Projectile here. That actually what it's called. It is, yeah. We can make this guy a little bigger, and this should keep. Nope. Okay. Thought it was gonna target the other guy. My bad.
Can I paint you?
I don't know if we can take 12 here, but we don't really have an option. There's like no choice here. Can't sacrifice Nami.
Let the tide carry you.
Never play fair.
Happy to do whatever's needed.
Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you.
Now we're just gonna try to heal as much as possible.
Let the tide carry you.
Spell burn will be doing damage the whole time.
Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf.
We're gonna do our best to not pass priority.
Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf.
Quick as the
And this should be good enough. He's at 1 hit point, but we got Blade's Edge in hand. Blade's Edge will do
They'll
4
never
damage.
know what killed them.
And they said I was dangerous.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
Rough, but we make it through. Still hope to find something that says the word stun on it. Which we probably won't, to be perfectly honest, at this point. Choice between Answered Prayer and Double Trouble. Double Trouble gives us some blockers, which is good. I think Answered Prayer, just doubling up on that seems okay. It's been working out pretty well for us here. Scorched Earth is interesting, but I don't think it's necessarily good. And we'll go to the shop. Mimic's interesting, but not good necessarily. You roll to the same thing, we'll take Spellslinger, that's pretty good. We'll go through Silent Shadowseer. Definitely going to be easier than Minotaur Reckoner. Minotaur Reckoner has infinite stuns. Silent Shadowseer probably has infinite damage though, so, you know, choose your death. Might be easier to remove with our low cost spells here though. Tough isn't great for us. We're in a very good place, mana-wise, with sorcery, or Spellslinger rather. And we just have to last 4 rounds here and we'll be pretty chill. Play this cask, maybe they'll just pass.
Old mask.
You're not gonna pass.
You challenge the wind?
Alright, all we need to do is make a full board again, and we'll be golden. Go ahead and answer prayer here. So give us something to target with Nami's spells. Drop Nami. I'll give us some ebbs and flows. These will be free now, instead of before where they were costing us 1 to play.
Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. The Mirai will never know fear again.
I kind of want to get Katarina down before I go on, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass here.
Let the tide
Even if we don't end up attacking with Katarina this round, she'll still grow pretty big. We can use her later.
I have unfinished business.
Not worried about Silent Shadows here at all.
Rise with the surf.
It's just a nick.
And we're not quite yet in Chemtech level. Still gonna be able to play a lot of cards.
Let the tide carry
And every card we play will of course damage the enemy nexus.
Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide.
Answered Prayer will give us draws, which should hopefully turn into Nami. That's the last Katarina we have, so everything else will be Nami. And then we'll just shuffle Namis back into the deck so we can draw them again later. We're making our units very big, we're reducing the enemy Nexus health. It's a very normal Nami thing. Of course it has taken forever. It's also a very normal Nami thing. Not sure why I played that card, probably a mistake.
The waters give you life, child.
If we can get through all of their units, we can already win the game. Draw 2 more Nami here. And we just keep going. I think we're at a good point if we attack now. Their 3 units can block 3 of our units, of course. But I think we finally have enough. Power to kill regardless. I did want to get rid of this silent Shadowseer. I don't think that's gonna happen though. And they replaced it with another one. Okay, they did get rid of it. We can just attack here, seems fine.
Violence solves everything.
We did that on round 4. So normally we wait till round 6 because that's when we get Chemtech Duplicator. So the Spell Slinger is really helping. You can take cost reduction on mini morph, it's actually really helpful. And Shadow Totem on Nami, I think could be good. Want to cut our worst card. We've never seen Wiggly Burblefish, so that might be okay to remove. You just need to keep drawing into champion draw and more Nami. We go up against our final boss here. Keep the Legion Saboteur as an early blocker. I don't think we're going to be able to kill him on round 4, so we're going to plan for round 6. Does unfortunately start with himself on the board.
Oh, that's my favorite too.
And that's enough power for him to level already. Really problematic stuff. The thing we're mostly worried about when he levels up is his champion spell, which is Disguise Descend.
Best beware serpent's bite.
Explosives!
Gangplank isn't good.
Wonder at my creations! Now they'll pay attention.
It doesn't matter if we even play anything into this Gangplank here. He's gonna destroy our whole board on attack. Actually, might still be okay.
Better take cover.
And just use the spawn 4. I mean, doesn't actually make a difference, right? Well, unfortunately, this will give us like an 8. Probably get pulled by the serpent. Or just remove with Arcane Comet,
Your
sure.
fate has been decided.
Challenge the wind?
It takes 16, which is more damage than we want to take, but we're not quite dead yet. Again, our primary concern is still Disguise Descend. And I'm not really sure how to play around that. Let's start by dropping this Legion Saboteur. Okay, I don't believe that's enough mana to play it. I'm gonna go ahead and drop Nami
My
here,
people are
hope I'm
counting
right.
on me.
We have no way to hit the enemy nexus, but we might be able to really threaten it anyway.
The surging tides. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tides.
I don't know if it's worth casting all these spells.
Tide carry you. Rise with the surf. The Mirai will never know
Because we
fear
won't have them
again.
for round 6, which is when we need to win. We do need our hit points up though, because we're probably not going to make it till round 6
Ride the surging
if we don't have
tides.
that. That's a lot of tough choices here.
Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tides. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tides. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
We actually don't want one of their units to die, because it'll just get replaced with something worse. So yeah, we could have had Ornn there instead of a Moon Dreamer.
Ride the surging tides.
We're actually totally fine losing Nami here.
That's quite enough.
It does run out of Infinite Hush, which is good.
Timing is everything.
And again, we do want to lose Nami here. I said we were totally fine losing her. What I meant was we want to. And... oh, we have to replay her. I don't want to replay her. Because I want 2 of her on the board for next round. But I don't have any spells in my hand. And I won't create a new one.
My quest is
Guess we're playing Nami.
but I will see it through. not a rope, it's a snake. Don't look straight at it.
As long as we don't die from puff caps, we'll have like a decent shot here.
The surf.
Didn't die. The ideal thing to happen would be to get hit with Sky's Descent Ring. It's gonna happen eventually.
Ride
Prefer it
the
happen
surging
now.
tide. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
Gonna attack to pass priority here. Not attack, but use a pie toss.
Let the tide carry you.
Guess I could have used another card out of my hand first, that would have been better.
Something approaches. Shroud the world in wings.
I think we're still good.
Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you. Shroud the world.
I don't think he has it.
Ride the surging tide.
I think he's out of things to do.
Ride the surging tide.
Let the
Go ahead and drop Katarina. Yeah, I honestly don't think he has anything left to do. We don't have the damage to finish him off though, so
Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
even if we finish, kill this one here, he'll make a new one on next round, I think. Either that or he'll get Volibear.
Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Rise with the surf.
As foretold.
Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Let the tide carry you. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Ride the surging tide. Rise with the surf. Let the tide carry you.
We're in a pretty good spot here. I think
I can't back down.
just kind of attack and see what happens.
Tell me a story. Rise with
Figured he might block Nami with the weakest thing, and we can give Might here. That's enough.
rise with the surf.
Amazing, we did it. Starting with Poros, very, very good for us. Picking up Spellslinger, also very, very good for us. I'm really happy with this win. It shows that it's a thing that can be done, even if it's not necessarily likely, and you obviously prefer to use better tools if you have them. But if you just have your Nami and you only have rare relics, you can still get through this week's 6.5 star adventure. So thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.